Warning! This review will have spoilers. If you are still watching, don't give me shit for spoiling this movie. You have been warned. Okay. Now, Robocop 2014. Okay. First off, I give them a lot of credit for not changing, or at least including, the original theme in the movie. But to be honest, the fact that they put it right at the beginning, as soon as the title card shows, it almost feels like it's like, okay, we pleased the nerds and the fanboys. Don't need it again. If they would have used it at the end, I think it would have had a stronger impact. Even if they used a different theme, you know? Just like, the movie's over, here's our throwback to the movie. The original movie, that is. Play that theme, I would have nerdgasm. My girlfriend would have nerdgasm. I don't even peg her as an action movie fan. That's the power of the Robocop theme. Alright. Now, this isn't the 80s version, and there's a lot more political stuff going on, from drones basically policing the Middle East to make, well, actually everywhere except for the United States. So basically every other country that isn't the United States is in a military state, because drones are basically doing random patrols, as they call it, making sure that civilians stay complacent and don't break the law. Yeah, I don't think people like being told what to do by robots. So that starts a whole political mess with suicide bombings that quickly get resolved. And Samuel L. Jackson, who plays one of the most extreme right-wing Republican types you can think of, basically supports the use of drones and turning America into a military state, saying that it would reduce crime to almost non-existent. You know, in certain cities I could see this working, Detroit being one of them. But I digress. The actual Robocop himself this time isn't so much a, hey, let's clean up crime. It's as, how can we make it so we can sell our drone, well, actually, no, I don't call it drones. It's like they're, I don't even know what the hell they really want to classify it as. It's never mentioned by title. Long story short, the company that makes the drones, Omnicorp, wants to sell their products in America. So they figured the only way they could do that is by putting a human face in it. This is where we get the Robocop thing from, with Alex Murphy. Now, here's the thing about Robocop. In the original, we didn't know how much damage Robocop suffered. We actually see it this time, and I'm not gonna lie, this disturbed me a little more than the original Robocop scene where they try to resuscitate him and he's on the surgery table and everything, and I hate surgery scenes. So if this disturbed me more, that kind of gives you an idea what you could look forward to. I'm not going to tell you what is still there, because the shock of seeing it is like, wow. They went ball to the wall. Now, that being said, this is where the story of humanity comes in, and what it means to be human, free will, self-control, all that. Often talked about many times in cyborg stories, and I think it was really done really well in this remake, because in the original we didn't really, I mean, we knew Murphy, Robocop, was connected to his family, but it's like, it was kind of like the generic 80s sitcom family. I mean, you know, they played catch, they did Halloween, they watched TV, but that's it. This time around, we actually see, even in the short interaction between Murphy and his son, we know they're close. We know Murphy is a decent person, a hardworking cop who believes in rules and regulations, And we know that he loves his family and that they love hockey. Yeah, I know, that seems like it's not a really big deal, but if you really think about it, I mean, just in that little tidbit of information, you feel already you know the closer bond between Murphy and his kid than in the original movies, because now it's like, now you know what they did when he wasn't a cop. It's like, they got that thing, you know what they look forward to. And even when he comes back from Omnicorp's facilities, after he's been cleared and tested, the son's like, I taped all the Red Wings games. It's like, how'd they do, son? It's like, I don't know. I was waiting for you to come home. We could watch it together. And that, I think that, I mean, it warmed my heart a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's like, that's a connection. Now, if you don't want to know what the ending is, stop watching right now, because I'm going to pretty much give away what happens. I'll give you 5 seconds. That probably wasn't 5 seconds, but you gave fair warning. All right. So I was talking to another friend online about the actual ending of the movie, where the head of Omnicorp, played by Michael Keaton, has something called the red asset. It's a little bracelet that you wear, and if it's red, it means you can't be hurt by a drone or by Robocop or anything. It's basically what the original Directive 4 was from the original Robocop movie. Robocop can't arrest or harm anyone that's a higher up in OCP. So what happened was, Robocop, even though his system was shutting down, he mustered enough strength to override it and shoot Michael Keaton and killing him. I mean, it wasn't like a clean, like, it was like, but it's the struggle of humanity. And I think that's what made this stronger than the original, because, well, people were saying, well, that's a cop-out, that's just lazy writing, because he can't just override it. It's not like in the first movie, again, stop comparing it to the first movie. But it's not like the first movie where he had to wait for that guy to get fired. Well, you know what, guess what? In Robocop 3, he just deleted Directive Number 4 with no rhyme, reason, or programming. It was just like, I have to avenge my fallen partner. Erase Directive 4. That's lazy writing. But to be honest, it's Robocop again. How can you take Robocop seriously? Alright. So that being said, finally, when it's all done, Robocop loses the black tactical armor and goes back to the original silver metallic finish from the original Robocop at the end. And it leaves room for a possible sequel. Will they make a sequel? I don't know. Will I watch if they make a sequel? Yes. Yes, I would. Now, if you watched my spoiler-free movie, you'll know how I said that there were references that just make this impossible not to compare it to the original movie. Mainly, it's the whole wouldn't buy that for $1 thing. And alright, I lie. That's pretty much the only thing I could actually remember as a reference, and the original theme being used. But actually, no, that's not true. The little things that they threw in, like when the president of Omnicorp was killed, they actually said their parent company was OCP, Omni Consumer Products. Why? Why would you make a new company and then just go back to the original old company when it was convenient at the end? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are more, but I'm really trying to forget, because it's like, you really can't compare it to. I mean, obviously, ED-209, only there's an army of them this time, but still. Alright, I want to wrap this up before I get too long and rambly. Now, The only other things I would gripe about this movie is the fact that, like the originals, I used to never see Robocop reload his gun. I know, it's like you're nitpicking, but guns don't have 200 rounds of ammo, especially machine guns. And you can't keep firing for like 10 minutes and not reload. And here's my other gripe. The original Robocop, they couldn't hurt Robocop until they got out the freaking shotguns and they were unloading on him. And then they had to give the gangs those freaking 50 caliber high-powered rifles. In this movie, it is announced from the get-go that Robocop can be injured by a 50 caliber round. It is so well known that the main bad guy even tells all his henchmen, it's like, how are we supposed to stop him? 50 cal and above. But yet, no one in this entire movie pulls a 50 caliber on Robocop until near the end when one corrupt cop pulls a Desert Eagle on him. I mean, I know it's a movie and all, and there should be a certain amount of disbelief, but you're telling me that in the city of Detroit, crime lords can't find a single 50 caliber weapon, but they can buy assault rifles and grenade launchers in mass? That's just me. And on my closing gripe, Samuel L. Jackson. You know, I love Samuel L. Jackson, but as a basically right-wing Republican extremist, I don't know if I loved him or hated him, but I couldn't stop looking at the hair they put on him this time. It's like, you've had some weird hair, Sam. Even with Jumper, you had some weird hair, but what the fuck were you wearing in this movie? I couldn't stop. It was like, you couldn't stop looking at it. It was like, oh, I want to touch it so I can rip it off. But on the plus side, Samuel L. Jackson does get to curse in this movie, even though it's PG-13. So I would buy the DVD alone just for that. Alright, so this has been the spoiler review of Robocop. If you're interested, spoiler-free one, link below. Oh, tune in next time when we do another spoiler-free and spoiler-laden review of whatever movie I see next. It was going to be Godzilla, but got pushed back. Maybe Captain America. Till next time, later.